Hey guys, Martin Bennett here from The Loan Room. Today I wanted to talk to you about how much can you borrow to buy that first home or even a second home. There's so many shifts happening in the marketplace and changes with APRA and lending policies. We thought this would be a really good topic to discuss because we've been getting so many questions about it. So the first person I want to use in this example is a single applicant, someone looking to buy their own home by themselves, and let's just use a generic income of $80,000. So if we look at that and say, well, how much can you borrow generically if you earn $80,000? That answer is roughly $600,000. Now this is taking into a few assumptions, and these are some important assumptions you need to look at because this is then where your borrowing capacity will actually start to reduce. So let's say if that's your maximum borrowing capacity, if you've got an income of $80,000, what can potentially impact this is, let's say over here, you have a HECS repayment. HECS is considered a debt and then would increase your living expenses and reduce how much you can borrow. Let's say you have credit card limits. You see, credit card limits, even if you don't owe anything, actually reduces the amount that you can borrow. So let's say you have a credit card. Let's then say you go through and you have high expenses. You enjoy the good life. So how much you spend on your personal life also dictates how much you can borrow. Because obviously if you're borrowing $600,000, that's assuming you live a modest life, you don't have HECS, credit cards, or any other loans. So, lifestyle. These are three main things that when you go to get your mortgage, you got to see how much you can borrow, are going to have a huge impact. So let's just run over that one more time. If your income for a sole applicant is $80,000, your maximum borrowing capacity is around $600,000. What's going to start to reduce this is, do you have a HECS? Do you have credit cards or any other loans of that too, and your current lifestyle? Now, let's look at a couple. Say there's two applicants, they're going to buy a home together and they have a household income of $120,000. So this may be split up anyway, really. So 60,000 and 60,000, 80 and 40. Then, if that is your household income, then you can borrow roughly $950,000. So again, that doesn't necessarily mean you can actually afford to buy a house for that much, because there's many other factors that come into this, such as the size of your deposit. But if we're using this here generically, and we want to know, hey, what's the maximum you can borrow? It's roughly $950,000. Now, as per our first example, there's going to be other things that may really affect this borrowing capacity. And we're going to add on a few extras than what we did last time. So, if you actually have a family and a child, let's say you have a young dependent, that's naturally going to reduce the amount that you can borrow. Again, we come up here. Do you have any student loans? HECS? Credit cards? Car loans, etc. These are really important things to look at and understand, because as the market continues to rise, if you're looking here and saying, hey, we want to get into our first home, we want to get into our second home, we believe we can borrow $950, but what are the actual impacts of other things in your life or your lifestyle that could actually dramatically affect that borrowing capacity? These are a few major ones: children, HECS or student loans, credit cards and personal loans. And obviously again, the big one, which is your lifestyle. But listen, if you want to know specifically for you and your partner how much you can borrow, and then actually then work that backwards to say, just because I can borrow X, how much can we actually buy for? Because those figures can be very different based on these circumstances and also the size of your deposit. Hey guys, as always, at The Loan Room, we're here to help you. So make sure you reach out. One of our mortgage experts will be more than happy to sit down and go through your certain circumstances so you can walk away knowing exactly what you're able to achieve. Hope this helped.